Hello friends, Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Welcome to my kitchen. What you just saw there is a sneak peek into the dish we're preparing today. My take on Grenadian oil down, the national dish of Grenada. And look what I have here. I've got some salted pigtail boiling away to remove some of the salt from there. We've got the bowl with the peeled breadfruit, the pumpkin, all kind of lovely things in there. We got some spinach, some seasoned up chicken. Grenadian oil down, the national dish of Grenada. As I said, let's get cooking. You'll need a nice big pot for this because this is going to be an all-in-one dish. First up, my heat is on high. Couple tablespoons, and you notice I have Mr. Dutchy here. A couple tablespoons of vegetable oil. If you want to use olive oil, by all means do so. And in goes, I've got here 1 onion that I chopped up, 3 cloves of garlic that I just smashed with the back of the knife, 2 scallions, and some celery. Give that a quick stir in here. And I'm going to turn my heat down to low because I want this to sweat and soften up a little bit to start releasing those flavors. In this measuring glass cup here, I've got 2 cups of coconut milk. I've added a ½ teaspoon of curry powder, and I've got here ½ teaspoon of saffron or turmeric. I'm just going to give that a quick stir because I want this to sort of flavor the coconut milk. And I'm going to whisk that because I don't want any lumps in there. We're going to flavor that coconut milk before we add it to the edges of the onion and the garlic. Everything has started to go opaque and almost slightly golden brown. I'm just going to turn off my stove at this point because now we're going to assemble this dish. We've got to assemble it and then put it back to cook. I'm going to do so in layers. So here I have 2 pounds, and I will list all the ingredients in the description of this video. I've got here about 2 to 2.5 pounds of salted pigtail that I showed you earlier that I was boiling. And the reason why we would boil it is to remove most of the salt that this was cured in. It is going to be incredibly salty. Cut it up into pieces, put it in a pot, cover with water, and let it boil for about 40 minutes. It's going to help tenderize it as well as remove all that salt. I've got here some chicken breast, 3 chicken breasts, 2.5 pounds or so that I seasoned with 1 teaspoon of Caribbean green seasoning. Notice I'm not putting any salt in this dish because the remaining salt from the salted pigtail will be enough to cook this meal. And we just want to sort of level it off nicely in there. Next up is the breadfruit and the other ingredients, the hearty sort of stuff. So in goes 1 breadfruit. Typically a large breadfruit is used, but getting large breadfruit inexpensively in North America is very hard. So in goes the breadfruit. I've got here 4 green cooking bananas, which I peeled, and you really want to press it down. I've got some carrots that I chunked up, and I've also got some pumpkin and eddoes. I've got 4 eddoes in there, about 2 cups of pumpkin. And pumpkin, some of these ingredients will not be typical to a traditional way of doing it, but like I said, this is my way of doing things. Next up, we're going to hit him with some fresh ground black pepper. I've got 1 whole scotch bonnet pepper. Remember, if you want that flavor but not that raw heat, add it whole later on. You can remove it or burst it in there and you will get all that nice flavor. About 4 sprigs of fresh thyme. I'm just going to layer that on there. I've got 3 chopped up seasoning or pimento peppers. Just going to sprinkle that all the way through there. Now traditionally, dasheen leaves, or the dasheen bush as we call it sometimes in the Caribbean, or taro leaves, they're used. You usually layer it on here. I don't have access to dasheen leaves, but what I have here is 3 cups of what most Caribbean people call Jamaican callaloo, and I chopped that up, and I'm just going to put it on the top here. We've got a couple more ingredients to go in here. One of them being coconut milk. I showed you earlier how we Season this up with some saffron and some curry powder. There's about 2 cups of coconut milk in there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to add another cup, so you're going to need 3 cups of coconut milk. It's always hit and miss with coconut milk and how much you need in a big pot like this. So in total, 3 cups of coconut milk. So my boy has come up to a boil now. You can hear that rumble in the pot there. Here's the thing, guys. Typically, you would put some flour dumplings in there. You can put some yams. You can put, you know, just about anything you want in there. Dashi and eddoes. Well, I already got some eddoes in there. This here is all about personalizing it to the way you like it. This is the way I do it because personally this is the way I like it. Additionally, the saffron that I put in there, you can put more. But again, it is something that I don't personally like too much. So this is why I held back and I went with half a teaspoon. So we're going to let this go now on the stove here, bubble away. I'm going to turn on my heat because I want this to go on a rolling boil, nothing too hard, with the lid halfway on. Actually, let me show you. So I'm just going to put it like that with a little crack there, slightly ajar, and let that go until everything is nice and tender. If you're wondering about the callaloo on the top here, all that's going to wilt down and go in there. Boy, oh boy, it's smelling good already, you know. Just wanted to add a little bit more flavor, a little bit more seasoning to this. So what I have here is a little bit of parsley as well as some shado beni, maybe about 3 or 4 leaves of shado beni that I chopped up roughly. And if you can't get shado beni in North America or Europe, look in the Asian or Latin stores. It will be called culantro. That's about as easy as I can tell you about finding it. Culantro, shado beni, or bandana. That is what you're looking for. After about 40 minutes, this is what you're left with. It's going to be a nice big pot of goodness. And I've got me out. I already took out a bowl full here to show you guys. 40 minutes. Check it for salt. It should have enough salt because the remaining salt from the salted pigtails should be enough for this dish. And this is the portion that I kind of put together for myself. So you can see the green banana, the breadfruit. I got some chicken in there. I got some of that pigtail in there. All that callaloo. This Grenadian oil log is going to go down good. ChrisCaribbeanPot.com. Remember, guys, you can personalize this any which way you want. You can put smoked herring in there, salted fish, smoked meats, all different type of provisions and stuff like that. It is totally up to you. ChrisCaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure to have you here with me in my kitchen. Remember to check out CaribbeanPot.com for all the latest recipes, including this Grenadian oil down.